Hi everybody, welcome on YouTube, welcome on Facebook. I'm Deborah Westbrook, and today we're going to talk about integrating science and spirituality. So I have a question for you. Do you believe that you only exist in space and time? Has religion locked you down, science locked you down, the matrix locked you down to believe that you are nothing more than what you perceive in the mirror? Well, you are. And this is the focus of my passion in my life. So if the narrative you subscribe to is that you're locked into space and time, then you believe you start here and you end here, which is not true. So this is the lie of the matrix conforming you into its image. So I'm taking my ideas today from Ervin Laszlo's book. I started with Science and the Akashic Field, but I'm curious and I read a lot, so I've read other books. So the next few Facebook Lives, which I'm going to do about twice a week and on YouTube, we're going to focus on this. So I integrate science and spirituality for the simple reason that the revelation of that expanded my awareness to be my authentic, sovereign self. So my background is in science and math, and I was a minister for many years until I broke the box of both of those because they did not take authenticity, sovereignty, and to consciousness not being located in the brain. And this has enlarged my capacity to understand myself, to know why I am in time for such a time as this in ways that were astounding that neither science nor religion could do. So let's get started. So the ideas today is that I am here, there, and I am everywhere. Yet I didn't start here, nor do I end here. There is no heaven, there is no hell by the determination of fundamental or Western Christianity. That is basically a lie that locks you down into a narrative. So how does this affect my life now? How do I know if I'm here, there, and everywhere? What does it do to me on a daily basis? Well, when you realize that you are transcendent, which means living above human limitations, when you realize that in your humanity, you begin to explore what this means and how you communicate it with the divine mind, with source, you can call it your higher self, intuitively outside of time to flow within time. So there's no separation in the field. Energy exists in fluctuating waves that manifest uniquely into matter. We've talked a lot about that over the past years. Our energy fields, our chakras. We know that energy attracts and can repel. And the ideal situation is to be in a resonant energy with those with who you're around, because that brings out the best side of yourself. And if you're not in that realm, how to know how to navigate when you're in a realm that maybe the energy is contrary to who you are. So we know all that about energy being waves people have been posting, yet what you see is not what you get. That's the narrative of the matrix. What's informing those waves? What's telling those waves, informing those waves with essence to be able to be the energy? So what affects the energy? Well, information. And John Wheeler was a physicist that said information is actually fundamental to the universe. So we have to always look beyond what we see in order to interpret not only what we see, but what's behind it. That involves critical thinking. It involves not relying on the matrix to tell us what we believe and what we think. So information in the field, through the field, I am the field flows through me. I do not get my information informing me from this realm. I am in this realm of time, but I am not of time. So I take my cues from intuition and synchronicities outside the realm of the simulation. So this is a realm of potential. Information in that realm of potential outside the simulation informs my life, and it never informs my life on the basis what the matrix tells me. So I awaken out of the matrix. It's very simple. One has to acknowledge that the matrix exists. If you believe that everything you see and everything you hear is truth in this day and age, you are badly mistaken, because there are lies upon lies upon lies to get you to conform, to pull you away from your authenticity. So when I started studying quantum, I saw basic concepts such as entanglement, which means that everything is connected. There is no separation of anything in the field. That is why religion is so absurd in its reality, because it tells you that you are here waiting to go somewhere and waiting to be someone. That's the essence of insanity. Everything is connected within the field. There is no separation. When I began to see that, it shifted my thoughts and it shifted my actions. So all of the field that underlies the foundation of the universe is consciousness. And many physicists now that are exploring in a metaphysical realm believe that consciousness is fundamental to the universe. Now, it's hard to define consciousness. People want to put a name on it, or they want to define it because our minds want to define things that we can understand. But unfortunately, consciousness is the all, and we partake of it, and we are entangled with it, but we can't always put it into words. So also, the quantum entanglements was one topic. Also, the speed of light. It said that everything occupies the speed of light, certain things, and yet we see a very small portion of the speed of light. So what if we can connect outside of the speed of this realm, which we can, through intuition, through synchronicities? That was another thing that caught my attention, that I don't have to listen to a narrative that is earthly reality, but I could explore my humanity within my divinity. Another thing is that the sense of consciousness connecting through psychic powers. You know, psychic powers just means clairaudient, clairsentient. How do you connect outside of the realm of time and space with what is uniquely in you? I am clairaudient and I am clairsentient. I see images and I hear things. How have I developed this over the years? Well, it's been like that since I was a child. And everything tried to quash this out of me. But if you've listened to the other videos, you know I'm returning to who I am. So in my life, when I started exploring quantum concepts, it expanded me beyond anything I could see. And I realized the insanity and absurdity in any belief system that cultivates duality, a savior complex, or separation. Because then in your life and in my life, we will always be dependent on what is outside of us rather than that which is within us and rules the heart. So let's get started. I want to tell you a story. A lot of times, it's easier to give you a picture where you can see something that is explaining a scientific concept. So I want to tell you the story about the ocean. So just follow along and listen. This talks about how one thing affects the other. So when a ship travels on the ocean's surface, the waves spread out from the ship, and every ship, every fish, every whale or object in that part of the sea is affected by the movement of the ship. And the movement of the ship infects the sea and everything that is in it. So the waves put out by the ship create a path that informs anything within its vicinity. That's truth, that's reality, that's the way it is. The waves intersect, and the more ships you get, the more the waves are intersecting, which clearly, just by reading this, shows you you are not alone. You are not separate from God. You are not the chosen people or the chosen ones. Everything is connected. And not only is everything connected, everything is affected by the state of consciousness of the entanglement of the waves. That is why if you hunker down in controlling people's thoughts, you change their perception and you change their actions. So you have to look above what's currently and navigate a higher dimension to be who you are. But let's continue. So if these ships are moving simultaneously in the medium of the ocean becomes what's called modulated. The ocean becomes full of waves, they intersect, and they go everywhere. Now, I live 2 miles from the ocean. I continually see whales and dolphins and everything that are responding to the waves, and they respond to the ships that go by because everything is entangled and nothing does not affect everything else. That's the perfect means of control. So what happens is when the sea's surface is modulated by the ships, those ships carry information that affect the environment that they're creating. They affect the speed and they affect the other vessels that are traveling. And as the waves of ships upon ships upon ships already present superimpose on one another, the waves become more modulated and they carry more information. So what happens is the wave patterns that persist are the memory of the ships that traveled on that stretch of water. So what in the hell does this have to do with us? Well, what it says is that in the field, there is a constant modulation of waves. Now, when there's a simulation overlay trying to affect through government, through tech, through the medical industry, trying to attract and focus on your thoughts to get you into a narrative of compliance, you're not becoming the divine spark that you are. So you're being affected by the waves upon the waves upon the waves, so much so that you are caught in them. And if you don't believe this is true, then you're living in the matrix. You've taken the wrong pill, because this is true all around us. What you see is not what you get. Look past the narrative, because this is reality, and the waves all over the planet right now are undulating and modulating in fear. One ship takes off, fear. Another ship takes off, fear. So much so that what is trying to happen is to lock down our consciousness into a state of fear where we are depending upon some type of external health. But you are not called into time to be that or to do that. So there was a physicist that perfectly explained this. My favorite guy. His name was David Bohm, and he said there is something called the implicate order and the explicate order. Well, what does that mean? Well, the implicate order is like the ocean, and the explicate order is the wave upon the ocean. Everything, everybody is in the all. The all is in us. There is no separation through religion, through government, no separation. No separation. Until you get that in your head, you're going to keep following the narrative of everything outside of you. So David Bohm says, when the wave comes up, it manifests exactly what the all is in the ocean. So that is our unique individual expression manifesting from the field as the field. This is not hunkered down in one spiritual belief system. It is true spirituality goes through many different belief systems and pulls the best out of all of them for one simple reason. You are in time for such a time as this, and nobody can force you to accept a narrative. So now, let's keep going. Interaction, through energy, when I manifest my life, it takes many different forms. Energy conveys an effect from one thing to another. So if matter is going to manifest, it's going to manifest because the energy comes together and forms the atoms and forms the molecules to where what is manifested from energy is something you can see. But let's think deeper. What's causing that energy to manifest what we can see? What's informing the energy in the field to come together and to form light, to come together and to form gravity, to come together and to form you and to form me? What's directing it? Why is it we have been controlled to look so far and no further? Because, my friends, truth brings you into a realm of infinity that nothing else can take you. And when you are in that realm, you become so still and so quiet that it invades every cell of your body. And when you come out through meditation or whatever practice, you are more alert, more aware, more free, more loving, more peaceful, not fearful. And this is just the beginning. So to help you understand that you did not start here, nor do you end here, you have to navigate this realm from a higher dimension, which allows you to truly appreciate your humanity rather than turn it over to a controlling force. So underlying the energy, okay? The energy is what manifests. But underlying that, there is a field called the plenum. It used to be called the 0-point field, thinking that it was just the darkness. It's not, folks. It's always undulating, vibrating with energy upon energy upon energy. And underneath the energy is the field directing its path. And this is called the plenum. Some people have called it the Akasha. It is resident through science, through spirituality. Many scientists that are looking for the theory of everything, that they have to put everything into a mathematical formula, they don't want to accept this. They don't want to accept this any more than technology wants you to know that consciousness resides outside of you. No, they want to tell you consciousness resides in the brain. They want to bring everything down to this effed up reality that is trying to control us. So the plenum, the Akashic field, is the field of the universe that carries information, and you access it by spiritual practices. It's not something you can see, but can you see God? You see God because you see me. I see God because I see you. Does that mean that God does not exist because we can't see him? And by the way, to say that one man embodies God with the name that begins with J, that's ridiculous. He was no better than any of us. We are all God manifested in the field, as the field in this realm. And that is what he was meant to teach us, which was co-opted by religion, which to this day gets me so pissed off when I think that we can ascend into greater realms, but they're trying to keep us down. So there is, underlying the energy, a field of information that is intent to inform you in time. How do you connect with it? Well, there are books that will show you how to connect with the Akashic field. Now, there are meditation practices, but it isn't a step-by-step process. I believe in my life, as you personally get still, you automatically start connecting in beauty and in grace what is there. It's not through a program. It's not through any of that. So the field is called the plenum, the quantum vacuum, but it's not empty. John Wheeler, who is a groundbreaking physicist, said information is more fundamental to the universe than energy. That's why Max Planck, at the end of his life, said there's got to be a divine mind behind all this. Well, there is, folks. In my opinion, it's God. It's the divine mind, but it's not the God that religion has perpetrated. It's the God that flows in an energy. If you hear anybody that has really deep experiences in meditation, they will generally tell you they reach a point of bliss where there's no words that can explain it. It's like it penetrates you. It's like you are permeable. And all that energy, which is love energy, just permeates inside of you to where you encapsulate what you get from meditation in the physical realm when you come out of it. That's why it's so important to be still and know. So information, let's get this clear. It's not knowledge in the sense of knowing about things, okay? Information is deeper in the sense of being a subtle connection between things at different locations in space and time. This is called non-locality. For you religious people, what do you think Jesus, when he got his information from the Father? It didn't come from this realm. Why do you think psychics come out of this realm? They go into a higher dimension. Now, I want to make you aware, and I'm still studying this, that this higher dimension moves past the simulation. So I personally, this is just my opinion, believe there are many channelers and psychics that are prophesying from a very low realm. And they're doing it, I don't understand it all, but you know that there is something greater to break out. So this information field, it can't be seen, it can't be heard, it can't be touched, it can't be tasted or smelled, but the effects can be perceived. That seems to be the most beautiful expressive definition of the creator of God that I've ever seen. Because something in religion and something in anything that's trying to control us wants to make you understand. They want to bring your mind into a sense of integrating all these things so that you walk an aisle for salvation. You believe that Jesus is the only way, or whatever you believe. That is pure insanity. And you know what? If there's any comments that are going to argue with me about this, I'm going to delete them, because go to your page and preach what you want. I'm going to say what I think. So when we look at the whole essence of the field, what we see is the smallest micro domain of quanta. Now, there was a point where in Newtonian physics that they were able to see certain things. Matter manifested, and when you broke it down, you eventually got to the point of you can see the molecules, you can detect the atoms, but then something came along called quantum, and what you were perceiving had no language to be conveyed, or it couldn't be seen, it couldn't be heard, it couldn't be touched, yet it left its effect on the realm. Let me give you an example. There's something called entanglement, where they split two photons and they sent them in different directions. Now, when they responded to one photon, the other photon didn't wait. It immediately reacted to the sense of what that first photon did because they were entangled. How did they explain that? There were experiments upon experiments where they couldn't explain it through a mathematical formula. Well, that seems to be how religion controls. It wants to explain and capture your mind before you capture your heart. Because once you capture your heart, you are intuitive to see through things, and you know that not everything can be understood, that life is a journey. It is a journey based on the expansion of consciousness. You do not really know what's coming next. You don't know the destination, and we'll talk about certain things in the future. So the smallest micro domain of quanta, the mesodomain of life, our biology, how everything in my body is beautifully connected to form the physical body, and the macro domain of cosmos are all connected in the reality of your awareness, the reality of nature, the reality of the migration of birds, of whales, the reality of the seasons, which are all trying to be controlled to a certain extent rather than expressing the beauty, because we are on a planet of consciousness. So a few more things. The basic underlying beauty of integrating science and spirituality is to embrace the mystery. Sometimes you just you have to get rid of your need to know, and you have to live in the now. So when quantum came on the scene, it basically said, what you see is not what you get. And everybody was up in arms. They couldn't accept it because mathematicians and scientists generally want to pin everything down to a theory, a mathematical theory. Religion wants to pin everything down to another realm. Tech, government, all those things want to bring you down so that they are helping you understand. And once they help you understand, they control you. So religion contradicts mystery by forcing one to comply to a set of standards. Thereby, it destroys creativity. It destroys higher intelligence. That's why it's dying, folks. You don't have to argue with me on that. It's going to be shown in time. Religion as we currently know it is dying, but something's going to spring up. Conscious awareness of your I am in union with others and the planet itself. We are birthing a new planet. And as I've said many times, we're going through to get to the point of a new beginning. Okay? So now let's end with talking about the Akasha, which I'll talk more about in the days ahead. The Akasha is the information field in the universe, in this universe. This universe in the beginning is not the beginning. This universe was presumably formed from a metaverse. the womb of the universe. It's called the prana. So this universe, in the beginning, according to that book in Genesis, it didn't all start there, folks. It couldn't all start there. It was just a continuum of conscious awareness, of expansion. So this Akasha is the field in this universe that's a beautiful mystery. And it's a point of remembering your I am. But once again, you have to rise above the simulation to connect with the true field that shows you who you are. It's not in the simulation matrix, but outside of it where you connect as a divine spark. To do that, you have to rid yourself of everything that's trying to control your thoughts and your mind. Most people don't want to do that. Most people, they want someone to do it for them. And I think that that's the state we are in the world. So people are fighting each other based upon because you're searching and you're looking and they're thinking it's crazy because they're locked into a system that is easy to understand where they don't have to take any responsibility for themselves. So the Akasha is an all-encompassing medium that underlies all things and becomes all things, and you access it through spiritual practice, through meditation, through breath work. It is a remembering of who you are. I don't believe it's necessarily memories, because I believe there's another explanation for memories. But it's, first of all, it's remembering the essence of who you are that goes without words. I am is wordless. It doesn't affect the five senses. It's a knowing. Why is it said, be still and know? It's as simple as that. So it is the original field. The Akashic field is the original field from which emerges particles and atoms, stars and planets, human and animal bodies, and all that can be seen and touched. It has a dynamic energy-filled medium in ceaseless fluctuations. You are always vibrating in and out of reality. Your cells are always going in and out of reality. In and out. You are ceaselessly fluctuating. You are ceaselessly vibrating. So all that has form evolves out of the Akasha, or the divine mind, in space-time on this planet for such a time as this. Our connection to this field, as the field within, reveals to each of us that we are not here randomly, we are not here without purpose, but in order to access true potential, we have to go into the field. Now, stop looking for a way to get there. Stop looking, that's a religious mindset. That's a controlling mindset of the matrix. There's no 10-step plan to get there. There are suggestions on how to meditate and how to become more aware. Take the suggestions and for once in our lives, mold them, use them, and form them into the unique individuality of who we are. So when prana is called the womb of all matter, it could be the divine mind. It is what birthed this universe and other universe, and it acts on this field, and matter is created. And when prana ceases to act, matter vanishes and returns to the Akasha. That's why you didn't start here and you don't stop here. That's why you are in a low density human reality to be the beautiful divine spark that you are. It's not easy living in this world, folks. It's filled with suffering. It's filled with evil. And just because you're blissful and constantly propagate that you're not going to buy into all this does not mean you're not going to go through it. The thing is to look very clearly and to navigate into your divine spark by ascending and knowing that you are more than what you see. So the womb of all matter and all form is prana. Well, could you call that God? Yeah. The divine mind? Yes. I believe there is an origination of things. I'm not looking for a mathematical theory or a mathematical equation or consciousness in the brain to determine my destiny. I do believe that the divine mind, the creator, is unexplainable, inexpressible, and we go through life in a sense of awe and wonder as we manifest in time for such a time as this. So I am not seen. Listen carefully. I'm speaking to myself. I am not seen until I realize that I am in time for such a time as this. I am just colluding, conforming, and absorbed in the matrix. But once I begin to break out, then I am seen for who I am. And so many people are afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. So I am actually not seen. I may be seen in the 3D realm, but I am not seen until I break out of this illusion that we live in, and I express my unique authenticity and sovereignty within the bounds of my humanity. This is what it means to be divinely human, transcendent in my knowledge. So I'll end with saying, you didn't start here, you didn't end here. So what do you do today? You be still, and you cultivate that stillness into a knowing of who you are. You do not let anybody define you, but you also listen. Listen, because you have friends that will come alongside you. So what I want to do is I want to do several videos a week that are shorter, simply because they give me the opportunity to think things through. Why is that? Because, folks, I'm finding myself. I found myself. And I integrate this in a critical way of thinking, of brilliance, to make you know that you are way more capable than you think you are. We are brilliant. We are divine in our humanity. And it's as simple as that. So in the days ahead, I will talk more about what I'm studying. I will talk more about the practices that I'm engaging in. I will talk about intuitive insights that also show me what I'm going to become. And I am just here to love on you and to step back. I don't want to be in front of you. I don't want to dictate your path. I want to kind of just gently push you sometimes with the BS that's coming, that's trying to limit you. Nothing limits us, folks. Yes, we suffer. Yes, we go through things. But when we integrate that into the amalgamation of a new birth, we come out shining. And I want to see the light emanating off of so many people. Hi, Sil. It's so good to see you. And Pris, and anyone who's watching this on the replay, just follow me as I follow you. And I'll do one again in a couple of days. Love you. Have a great weekend.